Hey everybody. Um, just had some sad news. Actually, almost about a week ago now. Very close member of the family, has passed. And, I'm not gonna say any names or, how I do. I don't put names out there. Um, but it's very, you know, very sad. Um, I decided not to put this video on Facebook and just put it on my YouTube because, certain people might see it on Facebook and get upset because they think, I'm saying something about their family member or whatever, and I'm not, because that person is also my family member too, as far as I'm concerned. Like my very own child. So, what I will say is that mental health is something that it's serious. Depression is serious. And if somebody tells you they're depressed, you know, it's like this. You have to learn how to read people. You have to learn, you just have to be smart. And if you're not smart, then you need to go and study and do research and things of that nature, especially when you have children. I can't stress that enough because, there are certain things you can do to help your children from, committing, suicide or something of that nature. Maybe later on in life or even while they're young, which is even more traumatic. If you just know certain signs to look for because they're there. I say, for example, I was a loner. I always liked to be by myself. I didn't really like to mess around with too many people. Some people would see that as, oh, she must be depressed or she must be sad. She don't like to be around people and this and that. It wasn't that at all. It was just like I like to mind my business, and I like to be by myself. And some people are just like that. Some people are more introverted, which means into, you know, themselves, than extroverted, which means out, outgoing. I was never a social butterfly. I like to be by myself. I like to keep to myself. I'm a person that thinks a lot. So with thinking a lot, I need quiet time. I need, quietness. So I like to be by myself. I write down my thoughts or I just, thoughts in my head and I'm just constantly thinking. So I like to be by myself. And it's not that I'm lonely. It's not that I'm being antisocial. I just like being by myself most of the time. With kids, you can't really do that. So, I understand that. But when I do have my moments, I'm like, okay, my little one here does. He's somewhat of an introvert too. He likes to be by himself. Um, but there are things you can see in children, when they're more so withdrawn. Okay, like for example, if you have a child that's like always up in your face, is always doing something, always likes to, be out and about, just, out. And all of a sudden they're closed in and quiet and withdrawn and secretive, and, that type of thing. You can, notice that and be like, they're not acting like themselves. Something must be going on. Let me go talk to them. Let me pick their brain. Let me see what's going on. Because you might not know what's going on, but you could see that there's different behaviors. Um, you know, but with this person in particular, you know, um, I heard, which I didn't know, but I heard that depression is hereditary, that it, runs in the family, and I didn't know that it was a hereditary thing. I didn't know it was something that, could be inherited, but I guess it is. It's not too far fetched to, say that it isn't. And people, family members, suffered from this or have this. And this person had it, but because this person was also a substance abuser, they sometimes thought of it as it was the substance abuse, the drug that was making them act a certain way or making them feel a certain way. And it was in part, but the other part was because they were depressed. And a lot of times, a person might, say they're sad or they're depressed, and we're like, oh, you're not sad, you're not depressed, you're just very sad or whatever. Go out there and do something, get a hobby, whatever, and we brush it off, and it's because we're ignorant, because we don't know a lot about depression, so because you don't know a lot about something, sometimes people make the cardinal sin to act like it doesn't exist or act like it's not real. Well, I've never heard of it. You just look sad to me. Well, you don't look depressed. You was laughing yesterday and talking and this and that. Well, if you did more research, you would understand how depression works. And you would understand that even if a person is looking happy and smiling one day, that they can still be depressed. Most of the time that's just a cover-up, because they don't want to be depressed. They like to be happy, but they can't. They can't get out of it. Some people can pull themselves out of it. Some people cannot. In this case, this person couldn't because the drugs were keeping them in that state. It's just very sad. So, I will not say that they're in a better place because I don't know where they are. I don't use that Christian mantra that, they're in a better place and this and that and the other. I don't do that. I will say that if they were in pain, they're no longer in pain, and that's a given because their, flesh is no longer here. The spirit is here. It's just very sad situation. Like I said, this person was like a child, like my child. So, it's just hard. But on a lighter note, I came with some more information about building your credit. There's this new program out there. It's called Self. If you go on self.com, it will bring you to, it's a program, and it's where you take, I guess you can go as low as $25 a month. I do 35, but you can go as low as 25. And what it is you start a line of credit. What you do is you start this account, and it's a credit card. It's called Self, but you don't get the card until the end. So, what you do is you can set it up auto pay or you can send it in. And you send it in every month on time. Like mine is due, the first of every month. So I make sure I pay it before the first. But you send it in, just 25 or 35, however much you agree to give. And it's an agreement. So if you don't give it, or if you're late, it's going to put a ding on your credit. It's going to affect you negatively. So you want to be on time. If you make the agreement, you want to abide by the agreement, because if you try to get out of it or just ignore it, that's going to make your credit negative too. So you got to be committed to this. Do whatever it takes to put that money in there. Um, but, over time, for like 2 years, you do it, and it saves your money. So it doesn't, money doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there. You can't pull it out. It's being saved. So after that 2 years, or a year, I think it could be a year or 2 years. They, they ask you before that, but they ask you, how do you want it? Do you want it in a check, or do you want it to go direct deposit into your account, or whatever? What it's doing is showing the credit bureaus that you can make payments on time, and it's showing credit worthiness, that you're keeping your word, you're paying this, and you've paid it every month, and you paid it on time, before time or whatever, but you paid it. That's what it's showing them. So it's showing good credit history, credit worthiness. So they're like, oh, okay, well, they actually did this, and they made the payments and everything, and, it was reported to the credit unions, so the credit bureaus, rather. So, that gives you positive credit history, which is good. So that's what I'm doing. It's just a, program, and I'm like, okay, you know, I got, I can give $35, because what was I going to spend that on anyway? This is something that's going to help me in the end. It's going to better my credit situation, and it's going to put me into a house. No. So, why not, right? It's something good. I could be using it for something else that I really don't need, so why not put it to use? Have it be for something good. So that's what I'm doing. So, let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, okay, being grateful. Being grateful. Now, a lot of us live over here, in the U.S., and, I would say even maybe some parts of Europe and London even. We're very spoiled. We have TVs, we have cars, we have computers, laptops, big screen TVs, smartphones, jewelry, everything, that we could ever want, and when we go over to other countries and you see the other countries, you can see that they have nothing, but they're happy. And it's like, okay, how can this go over to this country that looks like a third world country? They have no running water, no electric, no anything, but they're happy. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why it is. Because they have no worries. See, they don't have to worry about, if they don't pay their light bill, they're not going to have, the lights going to get cut off. They don't have to worry about that, because they don't have electric. They don't have to worry about, if they don't pay the water bill, they're not going to have any water, because that's not how it works over there. They go to the river and get their water in buckets and bring it back. So they don't have to worry about all of that stuff that we have to worry about. We live over here where it's all about currency, it's all about money, it's all about credit. So we worry about that kind of stuff. They don't. And that's why they're happy. So it's like, we should be grateful, for what we do have, because then there are some places where the people aren't happy, and they're just in a situation, they're like, help me. My daughter went to Mexico, her and her husband, and she just told me how it was so bad, and it was just not a good thing, and people were begging for money, little kids begging for money, everything. It was terrible. And it's like, when you go and you see that, it makes you appreciate how lucky you are and how grateful you should be, because that could be you. You could be the one that's begging for money. So you really should be grateful for what you have. So what, you don't have a fancy car, or the flashy jewelry, or, the newest game, or, whatever the case may be. You don't need all that stuff anyway. It's not going to benefit you any. Um, just be grateful for what you have, because you could have nothing at all. But that was a lesson I was taught early in life. My mom always said that to me. She was like, be grateful for what you have, because you don't have to have nothing. And that's true. That is true. So I'm grateful for everything that I have. Will I try to acquire more? Of course, because you always strive for more. You strive to be your best self. You strive to have things put in place for your family to where, you can have things and have, generational wealth and all that. You do all that. Doesn't mean that I'm unhappy with my current situation. I just know that now I'm in a position where I can do better and I can do more, for my children, for my family. So that's what I do. But I'm very happy, with my life and the way it's going. Very content, with my life and how it's going. Um, you know, I think a lot of people just, don't think about that. They just, focus on what they want and this and that. And they have a selfish mentality. It's a very selfish mentality. Um, and you need to lose that. And you just need to be grateful for what you do have, because it can be taken like that. In a New York minute, it could be gone. And you could be just like those people out there begging. So, just be grateful for what you have. Another thing I wanted to talk about is we need to be more on point. Okay? And I say this to everyone. I've been going through interviewing processes, and because I've been getting other offers and places, from hospitals and whatnot. So I've been going to interviews and things of that nature and trying to set things up. And sometimes when people try to make things easy, or what they say is easy, they actually make them worse. It's not an easy process. It's actually a terrible process, because they're cutting corners in order to try to make things better. There's this automated system that I have to go through to send all my documentation and things of that nature. And this, system doesn't always read things correctly. So then you have to wind up calling customer service. And it's things that take more time, and it's ridiculous. Instead of just having a person handle everything, sometimes a person can see things or pick up on things that a machine cannot. So, machines are man-made, which means they make mistakes and things of that nature. So you have to take that into consideration. Not everything is easier because it's automated. If anything, it's more difficult. I'd rather talk to a person than a machine. That's just me. But I will say this one more thing, and then I'll go, because I have to cook down. My son will be like, I ain't cooked that yet. I'm hungry. No. But anyway, Walmart and the self-checkout. I'm seeing a lot of things on TV now, and I just saw something, and it's like, I felt like smacking a person that was talking about it, okay? And, come on, I'm not one for violence, but, I'll throw hands if they need to be thrown. And he needed a hand thrown at him, because it was just stupid. And I'm not going to watch his show anymore, because, I was giving him chance after chance, but this just took the cake. Now, he was talking about, or complaining about, or whatever, about people that are going to the Walmart and using the self-checkout and getting charged or getting cited because they might miss something, like they're ringing up items, but they might miss one item and not ring it up. So when they're going out, out the door or whatever, the alarm goes off, and they look at the receipt and they'd be like, oh, well, this isn't on the receipt, and they'd be like, oh, I thought I scanned it. It doesn't matter if you thought you scanned it or not, you're still going to get cited. You're going to get in, have a problem, get in trouble. So what I say to those people is this, because I do it. I don't do it too much at Walmart. Well, no, I do it at Walmart. I don't go to Walmart too much, but Walmart or any of the grocery stores. Now, there are some people that are dishonest and that will go through the self checkout and not ring up stuff. You have those people. You have the people that will go through self checkout that think they're ringing up everything, but maybe their baby's hollering or the kids is running around and you're trying to control them and trying to scan stuff at the same time so you can hurry up and get out the store, so you might overlook something or what have you. Look, I get it. Nobody's perfect, right? Right. But if you're going to use the self checkout, then you have to become perfect. And what that means is you have to make sure you're scanning every item. When the receipt comes out of the machine, you have to look at it and make sure that every item you scanned is on that receipt. Okay? Because what's going to happen is, if it's not, and you go out that door, you're going to be like, beep, 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 beep. Excuse me, could you come here? And they're going to want to check the receipt. And you ain't going to really be beat for that. You're probably going to be cursing and complaining, acting a fool, and then what's going to happen? They're going to call the police. And you might get arrested. So, what I do is, I don't go through self-checkout with a whole bunch of stuff. If I got like a cart full of food, a cart full of groceries or a cart full of stuff, I'll go through the cashier and I'll let her ring me up, because she ain't gonna miss nothing, because I'm gonna take everything out the cart and she gonna ring everything up. And if she don't, it's gonna be on her. She's gonna be the one to get blamed for it, not me, because she's the one doing the ringing. I go to a cashier. I only go through self-checkout if I have a few things, because I can scan everything. If I have a little carry basket, scan everything, or even in the cart, take everything out, scan it, pay for it, get the receipt, and look at the receipt, and make sure, okay, 7 items here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 items there, and everything's paid for, and there's no problem. So even if there is an alarm somewhere hidden and it goes off, I can show them, here's my receipt, because I always have it in my hand. I never put it away. I hold it in my hand. As I'm going through the door, I'll hand it to them. Sometimes they'd be like, no, 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 go ahead. Sometimes somebody might glance at it, okay, whatever. They don't really pay attention, but I have it there to just let you know I ain't about to BS, because I ain't trying to steal nothing. I don't want you to think that I am, so here's my receipt. I'll offer it to you. It's up to you to take it or not. But I just check. You have to be mindful. Like, people have excuses for everything. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, this. Oh, that. I'm tired of people and they damn excuses. Stop having excuses. Do better. Be better. If you forgot something, then try to start remembering. Like that excuse of, oh, I forgot this and that. It's not going to work. It don't work with me, because I'm like, you might get one off. You might get one off where you don't remember. I might be like, okay. But after that, no. Because if I have to remember everything, then you have to remember everything too. I'm no better than you are. And you're no better than me. So that means I gotta remember, you gotta remember. If you forgot, try harder next time. I don't know what to tell you. But all I know is that I have to do that. So you should have to do it too. There's no excuses. Unless you have some type of ailment where it affects your memory or something like that, then that's understandable. And of course you can't do anything about that, so that's not your fault. It's just the cards you were dealt. But if you don't, I'm not excusing anything. Time is out for that, because I don't get a free pass. So you're not going to get a free pass neither. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. But my daughter did my hair. I love it. All this hair. Ooh. Thank you, Tiffany. It was heavy yesterday. I was like, ooh, look around like this. And I can actually put my head down. But just a couple of things, really, things that I was thinking about, it's like, come on, y'all, we gotta do better. You gotta do better. You just gotta. But love you, family, and I will talk to y'all later. I gotta cook dinner. See ya.